From the moment we step into the world, we begin to fragment. Carl Jung believed that the journey of life is one of both disintegration and integration, a continuous process of losing and finding ourselves. Society molds us, expectations shape us, and slowly, we drift away from our wholeness. We create different identities, one for work, one for family, one for friends, each serving a purpose but pulling us further from our true self. This fragmentation isn't a flaw, it's part of the individuation process. But at some point, we must begin the path back, gathering the lost pieces of who we are. The ego tries to maintain control, keeping us attached to who we think we should be. Meanwhile, the unconscious holds everything we've suppressed, the emotions, desires, and truths we were afraid to embrace. The result? Inner conflict, dissatisfaction, and a constant feeling that something is missing. We seek meaning in external achievements, only to find that no amount of success can fill the void left by self-alienation. To achieve self-realization, we must stop seeking outside ourselves and turn inward, reconnecting with the parts we've abandoned. Psychological wholeness is not about adding more. It's about reclaiming what was always there. So, how do we begin this personal transformation? Through self-exploration, through deep reflection, and most importantly, through listening to the parts of us we've ignored for too long. Taoism teaches balance, and Stoicism teaches discipline, but neither philosophy asks us to suppress who we are. The journey back to the self is about harmony, learning to exist without conflict between the conscious and unconscious. And one of the most powerful ways to do this, reconnecting with the inner child, the part of us that still remembers who we were before the world told us who to be. The inner child and the power of play. Buried beneath layers of responsibility, discipline, and social conditioning lies the inner child, the part of you that still remembers creativity, wonder, and unfiltered expression. Carl Jung understood that healing and achieving psychological wholeness requires reconnecting with this forgotten self. As we grow, we are told to grow up, to let go of imagination and play, to prioritize productivity over curiosity. But this repression doesn't erase the inner child. It just forces it into the unconscious, where it silently influences our emotions, desires, and fears. When we lose touch with this part of ourselves, life starts to feel mechanical, lacking the spontaneity and joy that once came so naturally. Play isn't just for children. It's a gateway to self-exploration and self-integration. In fact, many of the world's most visionary minds, from Einstein to Da Vinci, credited their ability to play and imagine as the secret to their inner wisdom. Whether it's through art, music, storytelling, or even humor, engaging with play activates parts of the unconscious mind that hold the key to creativity and self-discovery. When was the last time you did something purely for fun, without purpose or expectation? If you feel disconnected from meaning and personal transformation, this might be the missing piece. The key is to allow yourself to reconnect without judgment. Try journaling from the perspective of your inner child. What would they say about your life today? Explore activities that once brought you joy, whether it's drawing, dancing, or playing an instrument. Even something as simple as daydreaming and free writing can break through mental rigidity and open doors to self-awareness and authenticity. This isn't about escaping reality. It's about integrating the parts of you that were left behind. And once you start listening, you'll realize that the inner child has been guiding you toward wholeness all along. Now let's take this exploration deeper, into the path of inner work and psychological integration. The path of inner work and psychological integration. The journey to self-realization isn't a straight line. It's a winding path filled with introspection, challenges, and breakthroughs. Carl Jung described this process as inner work, the active engagement with our unconscious mind to bring about psychological integration. This isn't about fixing yourself. It's about embracing all facets of who you are: the ego, the shadow, the inner child, and even the parts you find uncomfortable. Inner work requires discipline and a willingness to face what's been hidden. But the rewards are profound. A deeper sense of meaning, stability, and personal transformation. Real inner work involves asking hard questions. What triggers you? What recurring patterns appear in your relationships? Where do you feel the most resistance? These aren't just random experiences. They're signposts pointing toward unresolved parts of yourself. By engaging in practices like journaling, meditation, and shadow work, you begin to unravel these subconscious knots, moving closer to psychological wholeness. Think of it as an ongoing dialogue with your soul, a conversation that gets clearer and more authentic with time. As you integrate these fragmented pieces, you don't just heal, you transform. But inner work isn't just about looking inward. It's about how you show up in the world. The more integrated you become, the less reactive and more compassionate you are, both to yourself and others. Imagine approaching challenges with the calm of Stoicism, the balance of Taoism, and the courage of self-acceptance. When inner and outer worlds align, life feels less like a battle and more like a dance, a harmonious flow guided by inner wisdom. And just as life isn't linear, neither is growth. It unfolds in spirals, revisiting lessons with new eyes, something Jung referred to as the circumambulation of the self, our next point of exploration. Circumambulation of the self and the spiral of growth. Growth isn't about moving in a straight line. It's a spiral, constantly revisiting old lessons with a new level of awareness. Carl Jung called this process circumambulation of the self, the gradual movement around our core identity, uncovering deeper layers of our unconscious mind at each turn. Just when we think we've mastered something, life brings it back from a different angle, forcing us to integrate what we previously missed. This isn't failure. It's the natural rhythm of psychological growth. Every setback, every repeated challenge, is an opportunity to understand yourself at a higher level. Think about how often you face similar struggles in different forms. Maybe it's relationships, self-doubt, or emotional triggers. It can feel frustrating, like you're stuck in a loop, but in reality, you're not repeating the same lesson. You're deepening it. Stoicism teaches us to control our perception, and Taoism reminds us to flow with life rather than resist it. By embracing the spiral nature of self-exploration, we stop seeing obstacles as blocks and start recognizing them as steps on the path to wholeness and self-integration. True self-awareness comes not from avoiding the spiral, but from embracing it. So how do you navigate this ongoing transformation? Reflect on recurring themes in your life. What lessons keep resurfacing? Where do you feel resistance? Instead of feeling defeated, see these moments as proof of growth. Journaling, mindfulness, and deep self-reflection can help track your progress and reveal how far you've actually come. The goal isn't to reach a final destination. It's to move through the spiral with greater balance, wisdom, and clarity. And at the center of this spiral lies something profound: apatheia, the state of inner peace and unshakable equanimity, which is our next step on this journey. Apatheia, the state of inner balance. At the core of self-realization lies a state of unshakable inner peace, what the Stoics called apatheia. It's not about emotional numbness, but rather a deep equanimity, a place where life's chaos no longer dictates your inner state. Carl Jung saw this as the result of psychological integration, when the ego, the shadow, and the unconscious no longer battle for control, but instead work together in harmony. True wholeness isn't about eliminating emotions or struggles. It's about reaching a point where neither external events nor internal conflicts throw you off balance. Reaching this state requires mastering the dichotomy of control, recognizing what is within your power and what isn't. Much of our suffering comes from resisting life rather than working with it. Taoism teaches us to flow rather than fight, embracing the natural rhythms of life. When you stop wasting energy on what you can't control, you reclaim that energy for what you can: your perception, choices, and self-awareness. This is where true psychological wholeness emerges. When you accept reality as it is, while still acting with intention and wisdom. How do you cultivate this balance? Mindfulness, deep self-reflection, and disciplined action. When faced with an emotional trigger, pause and ask, is this within my control? When a setback occurs, remind yourself, this is part of the spiral of growth. By practicing this consistently, you start to embody apatheia, moving through life with a calm, centered presence. This isn't detachment, it's mastery over your inner world. And once you achieve this, you don't just react to life anymore. You consciously shape it with clarity, purpose, and inner wisdom.